Hello Norfolk and Nottinghamshire classes, welcome to your English lesson today. We have been reading and writing about the book Varjak by S.F. Syed. And this week we've been writing a diary entry so that we can entertain our reader. Today we're going to edit and publish this diary entry, and it's our fifth lesson of 5 lessons. It's our final lesson of diary writing. Okay, so before we begin, I need you to make sure that you've got your pen or your pencil, piece of paper or your home learning book. So actually you need your story your diary you've already written. And if you do have one, a dictionary could be helpful to help you with your spellings. Okay, go and get your things together, then press play and continue the lesson. Press pause now. Okay, great. We've got everything ready and we're going to begin our lesson. My turn, edit it, your turn. My turn, edit it, your turn. So editing, we're going to make changes to our writing to ensure that it can be read by the person reading it. Okay, edit it. What is editing? And why do good writers edit their writing? I want you to have a little think about those questions, say your answer out loud, and then write it down on your piece of paper in your home learning book. What is editing? Why do good writers edit their writing? Do that now. Press pause. Okay, great. So editing is fixing the spelling mistakes fixing the mistakes in our writing. These could be grammar, spelling, and punctuation. So you should have written that down, that you're fixing your grammar, your spelling, and your punctuation. And the reason that we do this is because we need the person who's reading it to be able to read it, to be able to make sense of our writing. We need to make sure that we're making these changes so that our text is accurate and clear and so that readers can understand it. It's a really important step of our writing journey, the editing part. Okay, so when we do our editing, the first thing we do is we reflect on our writing just like we do at school. And it's really important that we think about what is great about our writing, what we're really, really proud of. And we read our writing, we think, what do I like about my writing? What have I worked on and improved on? What is really great? And because this week we've been working specifically on informal language and time-fronted adverbials, we're going to begin by identifying those in our writing. We're going to go through and identify the informal language and the time-fronted adverbials. So we're reflecting on what we've done well. Okay, so what informal language have I used in my diary? I'm going to go through and I'm going to underline or highlight all of the informal language that I have used. And here we go. Here is all the informal language I've used. This is the language that makes my writing sound really chatty, sounds really informal, like I'm talking to a friend. My diary is my friend. And here is what's really the chatty part of the diary. It's really important. Diaries are always filled with informal language. Okay, so now you're going to have a turn at trying to see if you can find my time-fronted adverbials. I'm going to give you a clue. There are 4 time-fronted adverbials and they tell you when something happens. I want you to pause the video and see if you can find, just have a look and with your finger and try and point it out, the time-fronted adverbials in my diary. Do that now. Press pause. Okay, so we're back and let's have a look and see if you were able to get all 4 of the time-fronted adverbials that I used. And here we are. I have underlined them here. I've used this evening. I've used just before dinner. And I've used then after the others are going for their dinner. And then I've used as the man strode into the hallway. So I've used a real range. They're very different time-fronted adverbials, so they tell the reader when something happens. And I really like that I've used different types of time-fronted adverbials. So in my reflection, that's what I'm going to say. I'm really proud of. I'm going to say I am proud of my writing because I have used a range of time-fronted adverbials to tell the reader when something happens. That is going to be my reflection. Okay, so now it's time for you to reflect on your writing. Have a look at your writing and think, what's great about my writing? What am I really proud of? And then I want you to underline the informal language and the time-fronted adverbials so you can really see all of those clearly in your writing. And then I want you to write your reflection using the same sentence starter that we use at school. I am proud of my writing because I have. And then write down why you're proud of your writing. Okay, time for you to reflect on your work. It's your turn. Press pause. Okay, fantastic. So now you've reflected and you're able to say why you're proud of your writing. And now we can start editing our work. And the first thing we do is we read it out loud. And we do this slowly to see if we can hear any of our mistakes. And so when you're reading, you're thinking, do my sentences sound right? And have I used past tense accurately? We wrote a diary. We were talking about events that had already happened, so we had to use past tense. Have I used it accurately in my diary? Okay, let's have a look at my work, my writing first. I'm going to read the writing slowly and try and hear any of my mistakes. I want you to help me with this. Okay, let's read it slowly. This evening, the most exciting thing happened. That doesn't sound right. The most exciting thing happen? Happen is not past tense. How can we make happen into past tense? Tell me. That's right. Well done. It should be happened. Thanks for your help there. Let's keep reading. You just won't believe it. I can hardly believe it myself. It started off like any other ordinary night. Just before dinner, Elder Paul was telling us amazing tales about my fearless ancestor Jalal. I just love hearing these tales. Past tense. What should that be? Everybody tell me. I just loved, well done, hearing these tales since they are the closest thing I'll ever get to an adventure in this mind-numbingly boring place. It's really the dullest life a cat could have. Then, after the others are going for their dinner, are going, that's present tense. I want it to be past tense. How can I change are going into past tense? There's a couple of ways we could do this. Tell me. Okay, so you might have said were going, or you could have said had gone. They'd already done it. They had gone, or they were going. Had gone, I think, sounds better there. Then after the others had gone for their dinner, the front door swings open. Swings open? That sounds like present tense. What should that be? Tell me. It shouldn't be swings open, but it should be. There we go. So that's an irregular verb because it changes there to swing to swung. It swung open. Good. Let's keep going. I was so frightened, my fur is standing on its end. I was so frightened, my fur is standing. Is standing. How do we turn is into past tense? What is when it's past tense? Was. Well done if you got that. Thank you to all of those who are calling out and helping me on the screen. Well done. My fur was standing on its end. 2 shiny black shoes, each as big as a cat, and they were coming through the door. They belong to a man they belong to a man. They belong. What should belong be when it is in past tense? Tell me. That's right. It's belonged to a man I'd never saw before. I'd never saw before. How do we say that in past tense? It's an irregular verb we say. I'd never seen before. Well done. As the man strode into the hallway, I noticed two sleek black cats. Well, that sounds like it's happening now. I noticed two sleek black cats. It should be. How do we turn notice into past tense, everyone? I noticed two sleek black cats stalking into the Contessa's house. Who do you think you are coming in my house like that? And that sounds great. Sounds like we have finished there. And I will get us on to, that's it. That's all my past tense, and I've fixed them all. Okay, it's your turn. You're going to read your writing out loud, and you're going to read it slowly. That's really important. Read it slowly so you can try and hear your mistakes. And I want you to think, do my sentences sound right? And have I used past tense accurately? Okay, it's your turn to do this with your diary writing. Press pause now. Okay, fantastic. So now you've gone through and you've heard your mistakes. And when you're reading it slowly, you probably saw some spelling errors, maybe some punctuation mistakes. But we're not going to fix those just yet. We're going to do this systematically. Okay, so we have heard our mistakes and fixed them. Then we're going to be looking out for spelling mistakes. We're going to be focusing on our spelling. And we're going to start off by looking at our high frequency words and then our longer words. And because we've been using contractions, because it makes our writing less formal, it makes it informal, I'm going to make sure that my apostrophe is used correctly when I'm using my contractions. I'm going to really focus on that today. So let's have a try. First of all, we're going to have a look for high frequency words. And I'm going through and I'm having a look for high frequency words, and believe isn't spelt correctly, is it? I wonder if you know how to spell that correctly. You could quickly write it down if you can, and then we can check it. Okay, so let's have a look. Believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E. Okay, well done if you got that right. And I did it again here, and it should be B-E-L-I-E-V-E. Okay, let's see what other high frequency words we've spelt incorrectly. Oh, look. Then the others had gone for their dinner. Their dinner. It belongs to them. That there is, it's over there. It's over, where is it? Here, there, where, it's there. But I want it as their dinner. It belongs to them. It shows possession. So how do we spell that there? Quickly write it down next to you before I pull it up. And let's see if you've got it right. There we go. T-H-E-I-R. And it's a really common spelling error that we need to make sure we're getting correctly. Okay. Any other high frequency words? Was. There we go. You think it sounds like that, os, but it's a tricky word. It's not spelt like it's like it sounds like it should. Okay, so have you written down how's the correct spelling of was, or calling it out? Okay, W-A-S. Well done for all of you who knew that. Okay, and I've also got another word here, which is two shiny black shoes. Well, that says two, but it's not the correct one. I need the number two. The number two, because there are two of them. 1, 2. So how do you spell two? Is in the number. And I don't want you to put the figure 2. I want you to spell it, because this is in our writing. Okay, have you written it down? And let's have a look. T-W-O is how you would spell two. And of course that T would have a capital T because it's at the beginning of a sentence. Okay, and we've also got another word here, before. Well, that's how you think it would be spelt, don't you? Before, but there's something not right there. Either call it out or write it down next to you before I pull it up. It should be before. There we go. It's got an E on the end, and that's another common error that I've come across in some of your writing. So really important. And we've got another 2, and there's how many cats? There's 1, 2 cats. So once again, it should be, everyone call it out. T-W-O. Brilliant. And I think that's it. I think that's all of my high frequency words. So Now, any longer words that I need to break into syllables. And I've been having a look at this word here. That doesn't look quite right. So let's break it into syllables. It's adventure. Adventure. Well, I've got my ad, and then it should be vin. V-e-n. V-e-n. I'm missing an N there, and that's chur. Chur. So adventure. So I haven't spelled it correctly. There we go. When I say it slowly and break it into syllables, I can really hear it. Often we miss out the middle of the word. So adventure. That's correct. So that's my longer words. Now I've got quite a few contractions, and I haven't correctly used my apostrophe. So won't is a contraction of will not, and so it's it's this apostrophe for the not that we're missing. Won't. And anymore? Yes. So this is its, and it should be it is. It is. We're missing the I there, so it's really. It is the dullest life a cat could have. And any more? Let's have a look and see what else I've underlined. Oh, now this is an interesting one because this has got the apostrophe, but it's different. My fur was standing on its end. It's belonging to its. This isn't a contraction for it is, because let's have a read. My fur was standing on it is end. Doesn't make sense. It's end belonging to it. Okay, so it's actually plural, and this time, and this is a really tricky one, and we'll look at this when we're back at school together, because this one doesn't need an apostrophe. It should be written like that, and we will look at that again. Okay, great. So that's all my spelling fixed, I hope. It's your turn to have a look at your spelling mistakes. Look out for those high-frequency words. Underline them, then fix them. Look out for those longer words. Break them into syllables. Can you hear every sound that's there? And check those apostrophes. Make sure that you're using them correctly. Okay, it's really tricky looking at your spelling by yourself, but give it a really good go and see if you can find any spellings that are incorrect. If you've got a dictionary, or maybe you've got access to another smartphone or something that might be able to help you with the spellings that you're not sure of, give that a go. But just really identify those spellings and particularly focus on those apostrophes in the high frequency words. Okay, so it's going to be your turn to check for your spellings. Do that now. Press pause. Okay, great. So you've gone through, you've checked your spellings, and now we're going to move on to punctuation. And I think we've already noticed some of my punctuation errors, but we haven't been working on punctuation just yet. We're going to have a real focus on punctuation now. We're going to read our writing and look out for missing punctuation. Did I put a punctuation mark at the end of my sentence? Do my punctuation marks match the type of sentence I wrote? If it's a question, have I put a full stop or a question mark? And also, am I missing any commas in my sentences? And I know you're going to tell me I am. I've already noticed that I've been missing commas in my sentences. So let's try first. Well, let's have a look first at punctuation marks at the end of the sentence and whether they match the sentence I wrote. So let's have a look at this. I've circled this. I don't think it should be a full stop. I want you to think about what it should be. I don't think it should be a full stop. You just won't believe it. I can hardly believe it myself. Listen to how I say that sentence. You just won't believe it. I can hardly believe it myself. I put a lot of expression in there. I'm really making a statement. I'm really, it's a really big statement. I'm really exclaiming it. So what should it be? I don't think it needs a full stop. I think it needs a really strong punctuation mark there. I think it needs an exclamation mark. You just won't believe it. I can hardly believe it myself. And that really wants people to show that expression in their voice. And there is another missing punctuation mark. I want you to have a look at the end of my sentence here with me. So where are we? Here we go. So have a look. I've got a full stop here, and that isn't the right punctuation mark. It doesn't match the sentence I wrote. Who do you think you are coming in my house like that? And I know you're yelling at your screens now. You're telling me what kind of sentence that is. You're saying to me, Miss Dandring, that's a rhetorical question. We've learned about that. That's a rhetorical question expressing disbelief. And so that needs a question mark. There we go. Who do you think you are coming in my house like that? Really good rhetorical question. I'm using features I learned in my other lessons, and I'm using them in my diary. I wonder if you've done that. Okay, so now we're going to have a look for missing commas. And I said to you I had used 4 fronted adverbials, 4 time-fronted adverbials. And we know that when we have a time-fronted adverbial, there's a comma before we have our main clause. Did I use the comma? Did I include the comma? Well, here's my first time-fronted adverbial, this evening. And look, here's my second, just before dinner. And here's my third, then after the others had gone for their dinner. And here's my final one, as the man strode into the hallway. But I haven't signaled that that's the end of the time-fronted adverbial with a comma. I haven't showed that. I've gone straight into the main clause. And it's really important that we have the time-fronted adverbial, that after the time-fronted adverbial, we have our comma so that the reader can take a little breath, and then it really shows the difference between the fronted adverbial and the main clause. And so here, and here, and here, and here, I should have commas, okay? And I want you to make sure that after your time-fronted adverbials, you have got the comma to signify the end of the time-fronted adverbial. And that's going to make it already, you can see that makes it so much easier to read, because now you can really see without the commas. Let's see if I can take them away. Oh, look at that. It's really hard to notice the difference, isn't it? It's really hard to notice the difference where the time-fronted adverbial ends and the main clause starts. So that's really, really important punctuation so that our reader can really read our writing clearly. Okay, so it's going to be your turn to do that now. Okay, so there's my writing. Oh, there we go. Yes, there is one more comma missing. And this is really important. Next to your dear diary, you need to make sure that you have got a comma there. That is really important as well. So you're going to be checking your commas. After your time-fronted adverbials, you're going to be making sure that your dear diary has got a comma there. That's really important before starting a new line. Also really important. We don't keep writing on this line. We start a new line and checking your punctuation marks at the end. Okay, it's your turn to have a look and fix your punctuation errors. You may have noticed some already. You've had a lot of good work and you've been rereading your writing. You might have noticed them already. And I want you to go through and check your punctuation marks. It's your turn to have a go. Press pause. Okay, super. So that's your turn. And now we're going to be looking for capital letters. And I'm pretty sure you've probably seen lots of capital letter mistakes in my writing. I've noticed them too. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to fix them. I'm going to make sure I've got a capital letter at the beginning of every sentence. I'm going to make sure that I've got a capital letter for all the proper nouns, names of people and places. And because it's a diary and we're writing it in first person, there's lots of I, and this has to be in a capital. Really, really important. So let's have a look first of all at the beginning of every sentence and make sure that we've got a capital letter. And look, I'm missing a capital letter there. Where else? Oh, that's the start of a sentence. That needs to be a capital. Any more beginning of the sentences that need a capital? No, I think we've got them all there. Okay, now I've got some proper nouns. I want you to have a quick skim and scan through my writing. There are some proper nouns, names of characters. Okay, tell me what the characters are that have been written about in that diary. Go. We've got Elderpoor. Who else have we got written about in that diary? Yep, we've got Jalal. And who else have we got written about in that diary? We've got the man, but that's not his name, so that's not a proper noun. And we've got the cats, but that's not their name. That's not their proper noun. But we've also got one more proper noun there, and that is the Contessa. The Contessa's house. That's a proper noun. That's her name is Contessa. She is the Contessa. Sorry, she's a Contessa. So those are our proper nouns. So let's have a look and see if I've got a capital letter. I haven't for Alderpoor. Really important. Alderpoor. That is his name. Alder is his first name, and they're the Poor family. Okay, just like I'm the Standring family, they're the Poor family. So Alder and Poor must have a capital letter at the start. Okay, and Jalal, who is our fearless ancestor, that is his name. That must have a capital J. I want you to really make sure that's correct in your diary. And Contessa, okay, she's known as the Contessa. She's a count, really wealthy. That means it's a really wealthy woman, and she's a Contessa, and that needs to have a capital C at the beginning of it. So that are all my proper nouns. They're there with their capital letters. And so finally, the word I. And this is embarrassing because look at all of these I's, which I have not put as a capital, and they must be a capital. I can, I'll, which is a contraction for I will, and still needs to have a capital. I'd is a contraction for I had, and that still needs to have a capital I. They all need to be a capital I. Okay, so even when they're in a contraction. So there we go. That's much better. I don't feel quite as embarrassed anymore having a look at all of those lowercase letters which should have been capitals. So now it's your turn. It's your turn to go through and make sure you've got a capital letter at the beginning of every sentence, capital letter of all the proper nouns. Have a look at the characters' names, Alderpoor, Contessa. Maybe you wrote about some of the brothers or cousins, and they've all of their names have got to start with a capital letter. And of course, making sure that your capital letter for the word I, even when it's in a contraction, really important. It's your turn to check your capital letters. Do that now. Press pause. Okay, fantastic. And we've finished. We've finished. We have finished editing our work. Now, some of you, before you're publishing it, you might have a wee look and you might want to improve it a little bit. You might think to yourself, do you know what? Actually, I've done all my editing. It can be read, but I actually don't think I've used enough time-fronted adverbials, or maybe some of my informal language. There isn't enough of it. You might want to make some little quick changes there. If you want to do that, you can do that now. Press pause. And okay, so we're back and we have finished. We've made our changes. We've edited our work. And now we're going to publish it. My turn, publish it, your turn. My turn, publish it, your turn. And so publishing our work, this is the final step of our journey, of our writing journey. It's really important. We're going to present our work so that others can read it. Now, this is where it's really exciting. And it's so good that you're still with us on this learning. You've done your editing, because when we're publishing our writing, we're thinking about publishing and presenting it so that others can read it. And it really means that we get an audience. And the reason you're going to like it for diary entry is because of this. This is a diary which has been published. And this is a diary that you all know and love. It is Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And we're going to be publishing our diary. And we're going to be thinking about the diaries which we enjoy reading. And why do we love this? Because it's got little pictures in between with these little speech bubbles, okay, throughout our diary. So when you're going to publish your diary of Varjak Poor, you can include some little pictures to make your reader enjoy it even more. And let's have a look. Here's another example of another diary we all love, which is Dork Diaries. And let's have a look again at some of the ways in which this has been written. It really has been, and is all in capitals. We've got a little sad face there. And once again, we've got a picture with an explanation of that picture underneath. So you could do this with your diary. Or another diary we love, which is Planet Omar Accidental Trouble Magnet. We love this diary. And look, once again, we've got Daniel Green, really important. Two sleek black cats. They could be written in bigger writing. It's up to you to choose what your important words are. You might choose to do your important words in different colours. It's completely up to you. And over here, we've got more pictures. So pictures are really popular in diaries, really, really popular. So include some little pictures in your published piece of work. And finally, here we go. So another diary that we've all loved is Tom Gates. And have a look. He's got some little pictures here. And Tom Gates has got lots of words, actually, that have been written differently. And look here, we've got pies and then a little picture of a pie, pencil, and a little picture of a pencil. So these are how we love to read our diaries. This is how we love them to be published. We love the different writing and we love the pictures. So why not do that when we publish our diaries? Okay, so I think I've got here. So who's going to view your published work? I think I was going to share mine with Miss Borum. I want you're going to bring yours into school. So you're going to be able to share it with your friends and maybe we could share them with Miss Borum. And how are we going to choose to publish our writing? Well, I've given you some examples here of how children like diaries to be written with the little pictures and the writing. So I think it would be a really good idea to publish yours in a similar way. Okay, great. I would suggest that you get some nice relaxing music on while you do this. You might even want to get some coloured pencils. You are going to publish your diary that you have written and you're going to try and make it really engaging. And I'm going to keep this page up here for you to use when you are publishing your diary to give you some ideas. Okay, well done everybody. Do that now. Publish your diary. Press pause. Okay, great. And I really can't wait to see what an amazing job you've done of your diaries. Of course, you can take a picture and send it in to me or make sure that you are keeping it safe so you can bring it back into school so we can have a good look at it together. Okay, wonderful. Well done, everybody. You've finished your diary writing based on Varjak Paw. I want you to share your diary with somebody, maybe a parent, maybe a sibling, a brother or sister, someone really special. And then, of course, you're going to bring it into school and we're going to celebrate how hard you've worked to engage your reader. Next week, we're going to continue to do some writing to engage the reader, but we're going to be doing a short retelling. Okay, fantastic. Have a great rest of your day. Well done for coming to the end of the journey with me. Fantastic. And have a lovely weekend. Take care. Bye.